We are so thrilled to welcome you to the first in-person Taste of New York in 3 years. It's been a long and challenging few years, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to come together in person again. Tonight's a celebration. It's a celebration of the Jewish community that defines us. It's a celebration of the Jewish connections that fuel us. It's a celebration of the Jewish continuity created when we engage in Jewish traditions, learning, and with each other. And tonight, we celebrate the contributions of two remarkable JHP alumni who continue to go above and beyond for JHP and our Jewish community. Before we present the awards, please welcome Rabbi Menachem Schmidt to give a Devar Torah. Thanks again for coming.
Okay, we're coming together tonight at a time which is sandwiched in between two very holy, important days. One is Pesach Sheni, which was last Sunday. Didn't know there was another Passover, huh? And the theme of that is that it's never lost. You can always fix it. And Wednesday night begins Lag BaOmer, a day of light, which is the yortzeit of Shimon Bar Yochai, who is the author of the Zohar. Okay. Who is Rabbi Shimon? I know this is exactly what you wanted to do tonight, but it's going to be a whole lesson. Everybody sit down. No, I'm only kidding. All right. Rabbi Kivo, so his teacher, Rabbi Kivo, was one of the greatest one of the greatest sages that ever lived. He single-handedly saved Judaism. He had 24,000 students, and he identified Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai as his greatest student and a uniquely holy force on earth. Shimon Bar Yochai, the Rashbi, wrote the Zohar, which is the center of Jewish spiritual and mystical thought. The Zohar and Kabbalah have enabled the existence of the Jewish people through the greatest horrors of exile. Rabbi Shimon asked that the day of his passing be a great Yom Tov, and it's a time when millions of Jews all over celebrate that very important day. So there are a few lessons that we learned from Rabbi Shimon. So we want to make a l'chaim after each one, okay? So, like I said, first, there is no limit to good. Once we reach one level of good, it's time to strive for the next level of good. L'chaim. Second, true joy is not experienced alone. And we see this from our own family and friends. Whenever there's a simcha, what do? You invite everybody. When we share joy with our family, friends, and neighbors. So we share the joy. Chaim. Zoe, am I doing okay so far? All right. 3, light breaks through darkness, and joy breaks through boundaries. That's enough said. L'chaim. Tonight we're sharing the simcha of what we can accomplish and what we have accomplished together. What we've done here is take a lesson from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. During the pandemic, during the time of tremendous upheaval, there's conflicts, there's all kinds of issues of bigotry and anti-Semitism, and we've used his lessons. So how have we learned to use his lessons? So I want to refer to a text which is 2,000 years old. And this is how Rabbi Shimon's son explains what we can learn. And he says like this: I don't know if anybody here has ever been to a tannery. And what a tannery is? When you take animals and you make them into tans, into skins, right? Parchment, etc. So the thing you should know about tanneries is they stink. And it's a famous thing in the Talmud. They stink. So he says like this: on the surface, the world we're in, the situation that the Jews are in, the exile that Jews are in, and in general, many things about the world today stinks. There's conflict, there's bigotry, there's war, there hopefully was a pandemic, okay? So that's the story. So what do? But when we focus, as Rabbi Shimon, the Zohar teaches us, and when we focus on our true essence, when we focus on our true craft of learning Torah and learning our beautiful traditions, and these traditions have preserved us for thousands of years. We focus on our deep relationship with God, each one of us personally. Instead of focusing on the negative, we focus on the positive. We turn darkness into light. We convert those smells into sweet incense. Shimon Bar Yochai lived in a time which was probably the closest thing in Jewish history to the Holocaust. It was after the destruction of the Second Temple, the Jews were exiled. The temple was plowed. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Jews were killed in very, very short times. Judaism was outlawed, and people were living in caves and in exile, and they didn't dare come out. And Shimon Bar Yochai came along and he said, our Torah and our traditions are our life, period. God is with us. Our problems are God's problems. We're going to make it through. And even if it smells a little, even if there's anti-Semitism, even if there's bigotry, conflict, war, a pandemic, we're going to look for the light in ourselves, in our Torah, and in our traditions. And we can convert the whole stench of exile into light itself. And through this lesson, through the connecting with the power of the soul, the powers of the secrets of Torah, the power that God gave to each and every single one of us, we take this darkness and we turn it into light. It wasn't fun to have a pandemic, and it wasn't fun, many of the things we went through. And there's still a lot that we need to figure out, but still, we've learned some very, very powerful lessons. And we've been able to turn darkness into light in many, many different ways. Tonight we've come together to celebrate two wonderful alumni. Each one of you guys is a brilliant light, and in your own way. So each one of you is changing the darkness around you into light. So we're going to start off. We're going to call up Samantha first. Ephraim and Flora, could you please come up? So I'm not going to read Samantha's biography, if you don't mind.
It's okay.
I think we've
I
known.
think everyone else would appreciate it too.
Yeah. So, but we're going to ask Ephraim and Flora to come up and read or for Ephraim without Flora, to just come up and read the presentation.
In honor of Samantha Stavis, Young Leadership Honoree, thank you for your dedication and support. Jewish Heritage Programs, Taste of New York, May 17th, 2022.
Okay. So I think that all of those that know Sam know that how much she deserves this, and also, and I want to thank her for accepting the honor. And hopefully this is only the beginning of things that we'll do more things together and more things for the Jewish community in the world. And Mazel Tov to you guys. Where's the Chusson? Where's the Chusson Bacher? Okay.
Thank you. I want to thank Menachem, Ephraim, Levi, and the entire JHP organization for this honor. I apologize that I'm reading off this piece of paper. I have spoken to a few male Jews in this room, and a lot of them like to speak off the cuff, But I was told that, especially after two l'chaims, I should probably not speak off the cuff, so here we are. But I want to thank the rabbis and the entire JHP organization for this honor. I also want to thank all of my friends and family for being here, especially my fiance, Ross, who just yesterday... All right, you guys didn't even hear the reason that we're thanking him, but okay. I guess he's great, I don't know. But just yesterday, he agreed to drive 30 minutes out of his way in the rain to make sure I had a dress to wear tonight. Can you say mensch? For those who don't know, a mensch would be an NJB. For those who don't know what an NJB is, that would be a nice Jewish boy. JHP did not teach me Yiddish, nor did it teach me acronyms, but I do owe a lot to JHP and what it taught me. So wanted to share quickly 3 things that JHP taught me. You guys can count them down and then you can get to the bar, I promise. So first and foremost, JHP, developing my leadership brand. You guys taught me how to engage people and how to work with them, whether it was convincing someone to host a Shabbat dinner or to make a PB&J sandwich. Learning the importance of influence at a young age has shaped my ability to get things done in my current role in operations and strategy. So thank you for that. 2, we're halfway through, guys. Forming my Jewish identity and lifelong values. JHP led me to Birthright, to Sinai Scholars, and to a brand of Judaism I hadn't previously experienced as my own. While I grew up going to temple and Hebrew school, my parents had made those choices. My involvement in JHP centers on community, relationships, and giving back. That Jewish identity even led me to the aforementioned mensch, Ross. You guys can clap again. You guys seemed very excited the first time. Notably, while I did break my mother's heart not marrying someone who went to Penn, she is happy that we have the same values, and it's a bonus he's a Jew. And third, JHP did teach me about prioritizing mental health. Shout out to Ephraim. JHP includes Cogwell, which aims to create a more supportive, non-judgmental community on campus through active listening trainings. And for me, Cogwell reinforced the idea that as Jews, we need to value life and health just as much as anything. So health includes mental health and embracing difficult conversations, so don't forget that. Thinking about the ways that JHP has impacted me, it really infiltrated all parts of my life, work, love, and health. For that, I will always be grateful, and it is truly my honor to be honored by this organization.
Our next honoree is David Schneid. David has the distinction of being, and he never ceases to mention this. I wonder if you still mention it, David. The first fellow that was actually a student while he was a fellow. So not only was he a student in JHP, not only did he was a fellow and ran programming at Binghamton University, and has been an involved alumnus and a very, very close friend, as is Sam. So I want to ask Dave to come up and Ephraim, come on back up and.
In honor of David Schneid, thank you for propelling JHP forward with your thoughtful leadership and support. Jewish Heritage Programs, Taste of New York, May 17th, 2022.
First, I want to thank you all for coming here. Thank you to Menachem and Iris and Abby and the JHP staff overall. Putting together this event post-pandemic was harder than usual. It was almost like starting the event all over again from scratch. Thank you, importantly, to my wife, Irina, to my kids for being with me as I call people to fundraise to get them to show up. Thank to my mother, my stepfather, my brother and sister-in-law who are here, and to my whole family overall, my in-laws who are here, drove up from Florida overnight. It was a big lift. And thank you for, and all of my friends that came out that I care so much about. You're all very wonderful. And importantly, my colleagues, from BlackRock, from EY, from all these places, came out in force. I can count on you to show up with a good deal of arm twisting, but you did it, and I appreciate that. The thing that I want to say tonight is very simple, which is I've been involved with JHP, Jewish Heritage Programs, for going on 18 years, a whole Jewish life of involvement in this program. And what has struck me both while I was a student and still now is the way that this program, and you heard it from Sam, helps students create their Jewish identity. Being able to find their own way to identify and create that connection is really important. Because you cannot be given it, you have to build it for yourself. And in the same way, we help those students build their own Jewish communities. And when you go out into the world and you move to new towns and different places, you need to find your own community, your own people, wherever you go. And if you don't have that skill, it is a skill to be able to do that. You're really going into the world with an arm tied behind your back. And importantly, in this day and age, where there's so much pressure on students, having these events, Shabbat dinners at fraternity houses and sorority houses and other houses, it really does create that place where the students can feel to be themselves and take that into the world. And importantly, as Menachem spoke about, he actually stole my speech. One thing that some of you may not realize is right now in the world, it is hard to be a Jew. It can be hard to be a Jew. And so hard, in fact, that many people out there in the world choose to pass as something else. That it's easier to pretend that you're not Jewish because, in fact, I don't know if you know this, a lot of people out there hate Jews. Interesting. And we see this even this week in Buffalo, the way that this hatred converts to violence. And so the only thing we can do is run programs like this, have some pride about who we are, and go out into the world accordingly. And so that's why after all these years I participated, and I felt important to continue to give back, to host students, to show them through mentoring and other leadership events that they can embrace this part of their culture and to find it for themselves. So with that, thank you very much for coming. There's got to be a lot more alcohol. If you haven't eaten, there's plenty of food. And food. There's food to go along with the. All right. Thank you so much. I know you thought you were done.
You
You're not-
almost are.
You're almost done. You're not done yet. Okay, so the serious part of the event. This is a fundraiser tonight. So we are going to raise some funds. This is not a joke. This is not a test. If you have a wallet on you, pull it out now. Checkbooks are also accepted. This is you're not.
Hold on. I feel like not everyone is paying attention. So I feel like we need the people in the back to maybe give Dave some attention. He is the honoree, so it would be great. I'm really channeling my lead fellow attitude right now. I really co-opted a lot of power as the lead fellow. So back to Dave.
Thank you. And for those of you who know me, that was a great rub of my ego. So there we go. All right. So tonight, something special. Sam and I, we've decided, very important tonight, that we raise more money. And we are proud to put out a $15,000 match for funds raised tonight. And that is going to help us hit our target raise tonight. We'd ideally like to raise even more than that. So, very straightforward ask. You're going to text Tony 2022 to 44321, or you're going to fill out a pledge card, or you're going to email at tony22.org. Email? Instagram? Website? Website. And you're going to give some more money, ideally much more than you gave already. You paid your ticket. You had some booze. Think whatever you pay for Netflix in a year, that's an appropriate amount to give, and more than that. So that is the ask tonight. Let's make Sam and I give some more money. That's the name of the game. And have any takers? People raise their hand if they want to give. See, David there in the back is raising his hand. He says he's excited to give.
I see Rob Stavis is not raising his hand, but maybe he will if I call him out. Maybe Steve Miller might raise his hand. Jeff Horowitz was over there, but I lost him. Anyone? Mackenzie Mary seems to be raising her hand. She actually, Boomset was just acquired, so she has a lot of possibilities. Information will be up on the screens about where you can text to donate.
It's an honor to be here sharing with you. And if you cannot see in the back, get a little closer because we got something beautiful here that's about to get a little more beautiful with your help. I'm a rabbi and an artist, and what we have here in front of us is something called overflowing blessings. The kind of art that I do, I create elaborate blank canvases for you to get involved. So come on down, get a little bit closer, because this is an interactive piece. This cup here is a metaphor for life, and we know in the Torah it talks about overflowing blessings, kosher vaya, my cup runneth over. So here we have a cup with a flat top, and we have 10 different colors. The 10 colors are representative of the Esek Kochos HaNefesh, the 10 capacities of the soul, the plurality of potential. And each of you are going to have an opportunity to come up, choose a color in a little L'chaim cup, and start a sentence with the words, I am grateful for. And in spite and despite of everything going on in the world, we have a lot to be grateful for. You're going to stop, you're going to pause, think something that you're grateful for, and you're going to pour gently over the center of the cup, and it's going to overflow. And as each one of us get involved, the paint will flow, the blessings will flow over the top and over all of this, and together we're going to create this beautiful celebration of our collective blessings in honor of JHP. So, Rabbi?
It's on me now.
It's on you? All right, so you're two of you going to go up first? Okay. Let me get the
I
cup.
can narrate it if you want.
You want to go for this?
Dave actually asked me to narrate. I didn't just offer, and he said yes. No, he asked. He said, "Can you please narrate my pouring of paint on this cup?" So for those who didn't hear because they weren't listening, the activity that we are about to do is create some art in which we will be grateful for things that exist in our lives today. As many of you know, it's very difficult to have a gratitude practice. I'm sure many of you may or may not have journals of gratitude, but it is always good to think about the things that you are grateful for. Allie, is there something that you're grateful for today that you want to share?
I'm grateful for my mom, my dog, and Robin.
I love that. Robin's my family friend. This is my cousin, Allison. And she's actually only grateful for her mother and her dog and my family friend. Not her father who's there or her brother who's over there.
My dad has great hair.
All right, Sam, all right. All right, so I'm extremely grateful for you all here tonight, and I'm extremely grateful for the health and well-being of my children that are not here tonight, and that we could all enjoy the night without them. Thank you.
We would also love to start a line of those who would like to practice their gratitude. Those who have been thinking about starting a gratitude practice, please feel free to file in after Allie. You will not be required to share what you are grateful for with the entire group. I will personally share that I am grateful for everyone that came tonight. I feel really loved. I actually texted a friend and said I felt very loved and appreciated. And I'm grateful for that love. So thank you to everyone who came. I will hopefully see some more people line up over here, and we can continue the gratitude practice.